Greetings, Deado Universe. This is Kyle Ploof, and I am here alone in the studio right now. We're doing something a little different this week because Alejandro is deathly ill with a lung infection. It is not COVID. He needs antibiotics. He is not able to speak this week. We will be back next week with a regular episode, but fear not. Most of our listeners are not Patreon subscribers, so what we're doing is putting out our latest Patreon-only episode to give you a preview of the type of things that we do over there on patreon.com/deathandentertainment. $5 a month. We have over 20 episodes that no one's ever heard unless you're subscribed to the Patreon. So we hope Alejandro, gets better, or else he's going to be a future episode. Also, I wanted to let our listeners know, one of our own Deados, a number one fan from day one, is in a horrible situation with a terrible landlord and needs our help. And I am doing everything I can to let our community know that we will gather around her. So we posted on the Death and Entertainment Instagram the link to her GoFundMe. And if anybody isn't on Instagram, they want the link, I will send it directly to you. Just shoot us an email or a text through our show, deathandentertainment@gmail.com, and I will send that right over to you. Shout out to Samantha. We love you. Don't panic. Everything's going to be all right. And without further ado, let's get into this episode.
Hoo-ah! Celebrate good times. Come on!
Oh! And we got a lot to celebrate today. Hey, do you all want to dance your pants off? Do you want to dance your pants off? Just clap your hands and move your legs.
Hello, Patreon subscribers.
Hey.
In Deado Land.
How you doing?
How are you?
That's good.
Alejandro listens.
Well, I'm sure some of them are answering us.
That's true, right? We hope you've had a better week than a lot of the people we're about to talk about today. There has been a surplus of cold bodies from the entertainment industry over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and just to announce, we are in the process of someday hopefully returning to regular live stream.
Sooner than later.
And so this very special Patreon episode is being made so that we can cover some of the stories that we would have been live streaming about.
Yes, there are people who've been clamoring for the lives.
Yeah, and we will return to it very soon, and you'll be the first to know about it.
Exactly.
And I want to jump right in here because these are stories, Kyle, that we've been talking about for years, it feels like.
Yes.
And the first one, quite obviously, being
Alec Baldwin.
Case dismissed. Did you see that coming?
Not at all. This was crazy because it's been thrown out with prejudice, which means he cannot be retried under those charges. So he'll never be charged again with anything. There's so much to talk about here, and there's so much I know about it. It was 3 days of a trial, really 4, because the first day was on Tuesday, and they were doing jury selection, and then after that, they just jumped right in.
That really confused me, too, because I saw it, I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing jury selection, cool. Maybe next week they'll start the trial.
Yeah.
Then it went right into it.
Yes. No, it goes right in.
I didn't realize that they select the jury so close to the trial date.
Yep, the day before. So
Wow.
if it takes multiple days for jury selection, they build it into the schedule. But yeah, it was one day, boom, bam, done, jumping right in. The day 2 of the trial was so interesting to me because Alec gets up, and the prosecutor called him a liar, and he didn't like that. And he gets up and walks out of the courtroom for like 15 minutes. And his lawyer was like trying to grab him, like, no, come back, where are you going? And then just like looked at the judge like, can we talk for a second?
Can you do that?
No! Can you imagine Brian Koberger just gets up and walks out? He was gone. They had to send someone to go get him. And he came back with a cup of coffee. So I was like, this
Coffee's
judge
for closers.
Yeah. The judge, I thought, was going to rip him a new asshole. She didn't even mention it. He just sits back down like nothing ever happened.
You think the judge was on the take?
She's on something. Because it's so crazy because the Karen Reed trial, which we've talked about, who, is the girl who supposedly backed into her Boston cop boyfriend and killed him with her car. that judge was so against her. Even in one of the days in the trial, she goes, Miss Reed, do you think something's funny? So she was so mad at the defendant. This one is the complete opposite. The judge ripped a new asshole of the prosecutor, which you never see. Judges are very pro-prosecutor because that's the system that they're in. It was wild to see that.
Yeah.
So day 3, all of a sudden they're talking about bullets, and the defense attorney's like, hey, we don't even know what this is, what you're talking about. This evidence was hidden from us. And they actually had they put the prosecutor on the stand, and the defense attorney was grilling the prosecutor.
Very rare.
You would never see that. And it was so funny because Alec is sitting there. They got a camera fixed on him, obviously. And the defense attorney was like, isn't it true that you called Alec Baldwin a cocksucker? And he just goes and looks right at her. And she's like, I don't recall.
The irony being that that's probably a word Alec has thrown around more than anybody. Just in his own household.
Yeah. So I guess 2 jurors came out and they started talking about it. In a conversation this is from People Magazine. In a conversation with the New York Times, jurors Gabriella Pecayo and Joanna Hagg expressed their doubts in the prosecution's case against 30 Rock alum. What? Oh, against the 30 Rock alum. I was like 66. What the fuck? They're just saying his age and not his name. Alec Baldwin.
They just call him 66.
Call the old root.
I want you to refer to me by my age.
66.
66.
That's how many children I have with my wife, Ilaria from Spain. Definitely not Hillary from Boston. So they said if the case hadn't been dismissed, which was a result of the defense attorneys arguing that the prosecution buried evidence, which they did, all 12 jurors would have come to a unanimous decision on the verdict. The charges were dropped on July 12th, nearly 3 years after Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed when the gun he was holding discharged on set.
3 years already.
That's crazy. This was one of the first stories we kind of covered in real time when we first started the podcast, because it was right after we started.
We put up a video of our reaction the day it happened.
Yes, because we were actually
recording,
and I saw it on my phone. I was like, holy shit. I was like, this guy, I would have pegged to be the first entertainer in a long time to actually kill someone.
Yeah.
They said, as the week went by, it didn't seem like a very strong case. Specifically, Hagg recalled the prosecution showing the jury emotional law enforcement footage of the shooting aftermath. As she explained, Baldwin looked shocked and stunned and so sad. It was clearly an accident, and the idea that there's anything purposeful or the idea that that there was this grave carelessness that caused this didn't seem realistic to me. But that is not true. It was grave carelessness. That's a perfect way to categorize this.
It was group carelessness.
Yes.
Several of them were responsible, including Baldwin.
And I knew that Baldwin was going to walk on these charges because the judge at the very beginning said they cannot mention the producer theory, which is not a theory. It's literally a part of his job to oversee everything. If you're the producer and financier of this film, everything runs under your watch. And they said he could only be tried as an actor, not as a producer, which as soon as you say that, as an actor, he's not responsible. As a producer, he's very much responsible.
Yeah.
So to not allow that is crazy.
He was holding the gun.
Yeah. I never shot it. I wouldn't pull the trigger. I've been trained not to do that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was realistic that he would serve prison time. It didn't seem like that was going to happen. And from the sound of this jury, they had their mind made up anyway.
There was not some grave carelessness that resulted in that. Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is.
There's no other word for it.
No.
It was careless the way they handled that gun on the set.
If there's no grave carelessness, why is Hannah Gutierrez Reed in prison right now? We don't know.
Bizarre. The whole thing.
Yeah. Similarly, Pecayo, a scientist who served as juror number 9, love juror number 9, told the Times that as an actor, Baldwin should not have been expected to know a lot about gun safety, which is true. I think he would have trusted the people, on the set to do their job. But this is what people don't understand. He hired that person.
As a producer, he's supposed to hire the experts that make everything go smoothly, and he did not. He cut corners.
His financial decisions directly resulted in Helena Hutchins' death.
They were playing around. He and this Joel Souza, they devised this Western.
Yeah.
Like, won't it be fun to make a movie? Let's make a película together.
Película.
And Baldwin was on the set directing everybody, and there was no rhyme or reason. People quit in protest to the petitions. It was just a shit show.
The jury doesn't even know that, I don't believe.
It was a vanity project gone deadly.
Gone horribly wrong.
Exactly. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So Baldwin was definitely partly to blame.
Yeah.
If not mostly to blame.
Absolutely.
Because Hannah had 2 jobs. Remember that too. Now, I'm not supporting Hannah either because she's a freak show.
Yeah.
Who doesn't seem that remorseful.
And not a good person, it seems like.
No.
Yeah.
From what we've heard from her jailhouse calls.
Oh, yeah.
She's entitled.
Yes.
Like, she's not taking it like a champ.
And the day after, so the case gets dismissed, the next day she was supposed to take the stand. And that would have been fireworks to watch.
I don't see. That's why.
Deprived us of the best part of the trial.
This is so disappointing.
Yeah.
Because do you remember how riveting her trial was?
Oh, it was incredible.
We went through almost every testimony and it was fun. It was very entertaining and it shed light on a lot of things about the indie film business.
Yep.
But so this one we're assuming was going to be even grander, right?
We were expecting so much more from this.
And it was just a whimper.
Yeah.
With a bad ending.
Yeah, it's like when you have a really bad hookup. It's someone you've had a crush on forever and you think it's going to be great. And then you're like,
and they smell.
What? Yeah, they stink. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't tell anybody.
I'll clean it up.
So they keep saying, I'm still here. I'm still open to hearing and obviously trying to stay unbiased. But I was starting to move towards the direction of thinking that this was very silly and he should not be on trial. I mean, it
is silly, but he should be on trial.
That's exactly what the defense wanted. They wanted people who were like goo goo gaga over a celebrity in a room and to be like, this is ridiculous.
This is blatantly a repeat of the John Landis trial.
Yeah.
Do you remember that jury was starry-eyed?
Yep.
When Ralph Bellamy from Trading Places walked into the courtroom. Dan Aykroyd was there.
Right.
On the defense side.
Eddie Murphy, not there.
Not there, but Dan Aykroyd, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John Landis got off. But Alec Baldwin got off like a dream. Like he didn't even have to go to verdict.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's the best possible outcome they could have had. So the reason why it was dismissed with prejudice is because the prosecutor, they said that the bullets they found on set, because they said that they gave the defense every opportunity to see every bullet they ever got on set, and it was not true. They had like this whole grouping of them that were withheld, and the prosecutor said that she deemed there was no evidentiary value to those bullets. So everything in evidence you're supposed to put under the same case number. Okay. And they ended up putting it under a different case number and hiding it in like a folder on the hard drive that they gave to the defense, which they never even found.
Why?
I don't know. And it's not the prosecutor's call to determine what's evidentiary value. That is all on the judge. You throw everything at the wall and you see what gets put into evidence. You're not allowed to do that as a prosecutor. So the judge flipped out and was like, this is done. I've never seen anyone get reamed like that, especially on the prosecution side. That was, whew.
And can you only do that in a trial for manslaughter or better?
What do you mean?
That is to say, what if this was a very even more serious trial?
I mean,
where it was an obviously guilty murderer.
Yeah.
Could the judge just stop the trial like that?
That's what happened in Nightmare on Elm Street, and then that's how Freddy Krueger was able to get off.
Oh.
Because he killed all these kids, and this is in the TV show lore. And they have an actual scene of Freddy Krueger in the courtroom, and they messed up on one of the police reports, and he got off, and that's why he ended up getting burnt alive and came back to kill everybody's children.
Yeah. Well,
that's not based in the real world.
No, right. No, but it does shed a little light into one possible scenario.
It could happen, yeah.
We'll have to look more into this, but I guess I'm thinking, what? Yeah, like, could this happen for a much worse scenario? Like,
It
where
100% could.
like Charles Manson or something.
Yes. I mean, Brian Koberger, if they fucked up anything in that
Right.
trial, he could just, walk on out.
I don't like the stage it sets, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah,
This should not happen.
Right.
So they fucked up majorly, the prosecution.
Bigly.
Yeah. Very bigly. So there's another story. Before we get to that though, look at this. So do you think Alec Baldwin, after he got off scot-free, do you think he's pretty stoic and reflecting, staying at home,
Knowing Alec, and now.
living a quiet life?
Yeah.
Okay, well, check this out.
Yeah, you would want to just go away.
He and Ilaria made a red carpet appearance in the Hamptons
Oh, the carpet was white, but it was covered in blood. So now it's red.
to support a movie, a documentary called War Game.
Wow.
And they were also seen celebrating at a restaurant the day that the case was dismissed.
Oh, you were telling me that yesterday, like they had a party or something?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And you know what's weird about this picture? Do you see it, the one of them on the red carpet here?
Let's see. Oh, look at them.
All right. Look in the
Looks like
background. Do you see a subliminal message there? Are you getting it?
Helena Hutchins.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
It's like, don't forget.
Wow.
Don't forget about the victim. That's what this is all about. Helena Hutchins.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Woo, boy.
So that's a good note to go to our next story. Well, we want to cover a lot of the entertainers we've lost recently because it's been so many big ones.
Yeah.
Before that, though, we should mention the Trump shooting.
Oh, boy.
That could have been a very famous casualty.
That could be a 5-hour podcast on its own.
We'll quickly gloss over it here.
Yeah, the Secret Service really fucked up big time, bigly. They apparently it's come out. It's not a conspiracy. They outright denied Trump when he was requesting more and more Secret Service to be at this event, and they just like Alec Baldwin wanted to save some money and said nope.
It's about money.
It's that's what they said.
It wasn't an inside job.
Well, it's like, when you have bad friends, they say, who needs enemies when you get friends like this?
Right.
And that's really what is going on with the Secret Service. They should have been protecting him, whether you like him, you hate him, it doesn't matter. Nobody should get shot in the head
No.
for their political views.
For rhetoric. Even though, sure, he's had some dangerous words in the past.
Yes.
Possibly caused an almost insurrection. But still,
Yeah.
you can't fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can't do it. Yeah. This kid showed up. He was 20 years old. His parents were calling the police about 4 to 6 hours before the actual shooting and saying, we're worried about our son. We don't know where he is. He's got a gun. And so there was a bolo put out, be on the lookout for this kid. And he goes to the most heavily guarded, which it wasn't, but he goes to the biggest high profile event with cops and Secret Service everywhere, except for where they should have been. And they're taking pictures of him. And nobody went up to arrest him or anything. There was a cop that was hanging on to the side of the roof and was like, hey. And then the kid turned and pointed the gun at him, and he dropped from the roof like 8 to 10 feet.
Wow.
And then he's the one that got on the radio and was like, there's a shooter. And the kid started shooting. They are hailing that cop as a hero because they said if it wasn't for his, 10-second delay that anything could have happened worse,
Could have been much worse.
Yeah. But the kid was flying a drone around to stake out the whole thing. The security was just so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Everything worked out in his favor to be able to get those shots off.
Yeah. And they always say that thing where if Trump had turned his head just a little bit, well, it would have went into his brain.
The only reason he survived was to look at a chart of illegal aliens entering the America.
So he better start thanking Mexicans now.
Hey.
Instead of trying to deport them because they saved his life.
Oh, yeah.
And the Trump shooter was in a commercial. This is how it ties
For BlackRock.
to entertainment.
Yeah.
This was a commercial star.
Yeah.
BlackRock. What is BlackRock?
It is one of the top 2 to 3 financial firms that run this country.
And so there's footage of a classroom setting.
Yeah.
With this Trump shooter in it.
We got a kid from a BlackRock commercial shooting a reality TV star.
Yeah.
So that's the entertainment tie-in there.
And my question is that good or bad for BlackRock? Because it sure brings awareness to their brand.
Well, that's where so many conspiracy theories are coming up, saying he was compromised by BlackRock and BlackRock wanted to take Trump out.
What?
There's
I haven't heard that one yet.
endless conspiracy
All right, can you
theories.
just run through a couple of them quick? I honestly have not even dived into this fully yet.
Yeah, so they're saying that someone on the inside recruited him. That's why he was able to do everything he was able to do.
Okay.
So they're looking at Secret Service and the cops that were there to see if they aided him in any way. There's been pictures posted where there's a second guy like kind of off in the distance, and they're like saying that guy's the spotter, and that's the guy who was like he was working with.
A second. So this is like the Kennedy shooting.
Absolutely.
The grassy knoll redux.
The tramps.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole BlackRock thing. What's the other one? Oh,
that Trump put his hand up. And maybe that's where he had the ketchup packet.
Yeah, ketchup packet theory.
So that Trump staged it essentially
Yes.
so that he could look like a hero.
Yes, which would be smart. I mean, it worked out in his favor for sure. But I don't think he would ever come that close to death.
No.
And someone was actually killed.
I know.
And someone else might die. There was a guy that was shot in the liver and the stomach. He's still in critical condition. So, I hope they're doing all right.
No, but in the most evilest conspiracy theories, those would be considered necessary casualties for the greater good.
Right. And I'm not above believing the government would kill its own people. I mean, Operation Northwoods was a whole thing. It was the plan for 9/11 before 9/11 was 9/11.
Yeah.
The CIA signed off and said that they wanted to shoot down a bunch of actual passenger planes and blame it on Cuba, and it was approved by the CIA, and then John F. Kennedy said, fuck no, we're not doing that, and he denied it. So we know that they're not above doing it, but in this case, it doesn't seem feasible.
The shoe doesn't fit.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. It probably was just the shooter wanting to take out Trump, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's another theory. They've brought up his voter registration. He was actually Republican, so people are like, "Why is he trying to kill someone he believed in?" And there's another theory that he was just trying to make his dad upset because they come from a Trumper family. He was mad at his dad, so he's going to kill his hero. Who the fuck knows? We'll find out more. They said there was nothing on his phone. The last thing he searched was porn, which didn't do the trick. He was still angry enough. So
that's not good for porn.
It's not good. It's like I want to find out what video he was watching that made him so mad he wanted to shoot a president.
Yeah. So that was his very last search.
Yes. Yeah, he was looking up Biden. He was going to shoot either of them. It just happened to be that, that week, rolling through his hometown was Donald Trump. And
so Biden could have been.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And that would have boosted Biden's approval rate.
Oh, yeah. If they survived, it would have. Either side is going to benefit off of that situation, especially when Trump got up and he's like, fight, fight, fight.
Yeah. So you were telling me the other day that was badass.
I thought it was pretty badass, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not a Trump guy. I've actively spoken out against him on Facebook when I used to
Do that sort of thing.
give a fucking public opinion. Like, who gives a shit?
I can't believe on the day after the 2016 election,
Mm-hmm.
I put a map of the United States on Instagram, and I was like, I don't live in a red state or a blue state. These are the United States of America.
Oh,
It's
you
like,
were fired
shut
up. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a bunch of who gives a shit, but
And another casualty of that is today, Biden has stepped down. When
Whoa.
we're recording this,
wow. Yeah.
Biden's out of the race.
See you later.
But not really because of the shooting, though. It's more
No.
because of that debate
Cognitive decline.
where he seemed like he was 100 years old.
Yeah. I mean, he's close. There was a video that came out last week of the Secret Service putting him in the car. Like, he couldn't even, he had to be assisted in and then 1 foot by 1 foot placed into the car. And he's just sitting there like totally confused and out of it. And they put the seatbelt on him and then drive off. It's crazy.
Okay.
It was really bad behind the scenes. And Ben was talking about it today on his political show that, like, you've been lied to. They were trying to cover it up for so long. They knew he was in horrible shape, but they kept trotting him out there. And I mean, now
Elder abuse.
yeah, it really is. Yeah. And I think Trump is just going to destroy Kamala. It's not even going to be close, especially.
Well, we don't know if it's going to be Kamala or not.
Yeah.
She wants to run, but the Democrats have the last word. When did we get political here?
I know. This is woo.
But we did not say who we're voting for.
Yeah.
Or if we're voting.
What is voting?
So
I'm a felon.
it's just an interesting story.
I can't vote or read.
So we'll see where this all leads. It's just one of the but the thing is that all happened, right, in a very short time span,
Yeah.
but there were a bunch of celebrity deaths as well.
Yes.
So there's a moment you're going, what is with this news cycle here?
Have you seen this?
Yeah. So that's a good transition to our next story here.
Yes.
And now this next portion that will take us out today are all the we can't keep up.
No.
All the entertainers we've been losing lately.
Yeah, this was in late May. General Hospital actor Johnny Wacker. His cause of
Excuse
death.
me?
I didn't whack her. I did not kill him. The cause of death has been revealed, which, you know, we all knew all along. He was shot.
Yeah.
So they confirmed that it was a bullet to the chest.
So someone was trying to steal his converter, his
Catalytic converter.
Yeah.
Which is a huge problem in LA. It's, I mean, everywhere, but LA, it's just literally every day people are getting their catalytic converter stolen because there's like a mineral inside it that's worth like $2,000. It's ridiculous.
How are we going to solve this problem?
Start fighting back with these fuckers. They get
That's
in
what
and they
he
get
was-
out. I know, yeah.
That's what he was trying to do.
I know. They said Wacker was shot early Saturday morning, May 25th in L.A. when he confronted 3 armed thieves who were stealing his catalytic
3?
converter. Yep. The suspects.
He's brave as hell.
Yeah. Suspects fled, and the LAPD has been asking for the public's help. Let's see.
They haven't caught them yet.
No.
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, it's crazy. This dude, you'd think anybody who's a regular on General Hospital or any show wouldn't be having to deal with street parking, but this is the state of Los Angeles.
Hey. I'm sure even Madonna has had to use food stamps.
Yeah. Let's see. Wacker had ended his shift as a bartender. Oh, so he was. So, yeah.
You know, he was acting, but that is
Just
the
like
state
all of
thing.
us.
Yeah, like the Cosby Show actor who was spotted working at Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
That happens.
it does. He was confronted by the 3. Without provocation, the victim was shot by one of the individuals. The 3 suspects involved were all wearing dark clothing and driving a dark-colored sedan. They fled northbound on Hope Street. Central Bureau Homicide is investigating the case and requesting the public's help.
Hope Street. Meanwhile, this case seems hopeless.
Oh, this is brutal. He was, walking a female coworker to her car because he knew it was dangerous in L.A., which it very, very much is, especially late at night and especially in Hollywood. That's when they encountered the thieves at his car. The actor positioned himself in front of his coworker and was shot. He was pronounced dead at the hospital.
That's really when people step up.
Yeah.
Like there's that moment that makes or breaks you. What are you going to do in that scenario?
What you going to do, brother?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. So he's a genuinely good guy, you know, making sure that she's not getting attacked and then...
Looks like he hit the genetic lottery.
Oh, yeah. Very attractive man.
And he probably would have gone a lot further as he went along.
Yeah. Yeah, that's brutal.
Well, R.I.P.
Yes.
Mr. Johnny Wacker. Actor.
Oh, he put the actor in Wacker. Next story, Judith Belushi-Pisano, actress and widow of John Belushi, dies at 73. She actually appeared in Animal House and the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, she was around that whole scene, except when he wanted to party.
Woo!
Then she wasn't anywhere near that.
Doing coke at the chateau.
Yeah, she was not invited to those occasions.
With Robin Williams.
One of Belushi's friends, John, that is, one of his friends, Tim Kazurinsky, who was on SNL as well, he said that John would have 2 to 3 lives going on. So
wow.
Tim would see him, they'd have dinner, hang out for a while, and then, oh, good night, John, yep, see you next time. And then John would go out to another party and stay out all night. Meanwhile, Tim goes home to sleep.
Right.
That's the way John Belushi operated.
Yeah. Some people do have those different lives with different people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like your high school friends and your college friends meeting, and you're like, wait, how do you two, we don't mix these people together.
Yeah, and they usually don't mix that well.
No, they never do. Like, these are the fucking weirdos you've been hanging out with your whole life?
Yeah.
Yep, this is who I am.
Or like that secret nerd that you're friends with.
Yeah.
And you're like, should I bring him to the pool party?
Is he going to be a bummer?
Or is he going to creep people out?
They say, today our hearts are heavy as we say goodbye to our sweet Judy. Her unwavering dedication and creative genius alongside Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi gave birth to the Blues Brothers, a timeless testament to the power of music and laughter. In the years following John's passing in 1982, Judy honored his life and championed his legacies and the Blues Brothers brand.
And she was not a fan of the Bob Woodward book, Wired.
Oh.
In which we learned more details about his final night with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And the hard-edged Kathy Smith, who was his drug dealer and who injected him.
A rough woman.
Yeah. We still got to do the John Belushi episode.
We do.
We haven't even done that one.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Big one.
So R.I.P. Judy Belushi.
Judy Belushi.
All right. I think next we have Bill Cobbs.
We sure do.
Do you know who Bill Cobbs is, Kyle?
He's a veteran actor.
What's your favorite movie?
Who became ubiquitous with stage screen presence as an older man. He was 90 years old.
What's your favorite Bill Cobbs movie?
Bill, I would say The Hudsucker Proxy.
Okay.
I've actually seen it.
Anna Nicole Smith was in it, too.
That's right.
No, Bill Cobbs was in a ton of things.
Yeah, a lot of people got excited about this one because I thought people were just saying Bill Cosby.
Like, finally.
Yeah, Bill Cosby's.
Meanwhile, Bill Cobb's family's like, why are you saying that about him? Yeah, so he was in The Bodyguard, Air Bud, New Jack City.
Yep.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which I saw in the theater.
The second.
Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
With Jack Black as
what are you waiting for?
the Rastafarian.
Yeah.
Dude. And then Bill Cobb's character basically reveals the whole twist. Because they win a contest. Brandy, one of our past subjects.
Yes.
Brandy and Jennifer Love Hewitt win a radio contest to go to the Bahamas or something.
Yeah.
Because they guessed the capital of Brazil. But they got the wrong answer. But then they still won anyway. So then near the end, Bill Cobbs on the island, he informs them about that, basically saying, you got the wrong answer. And so this was all a setup. Ooh. And he goes, Brasilia is the capital of Brazil. Anyway, that was unnecessary. But go watch it.
Very necessary. I'm going to watch that tonight now.
Demolition Man, that thing you do.
Wow.
I mean, you throw around the term veteran actor.
Yeah.
This guy was in everything.
That was one music video I forgot to put on last night. That thing you do. I love that song.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that thing you do.
Kyle's referring to our Dodgers game. Red Sox game.
Concert,
whatever. Yeah, we were watching a bunch of music videos.
Yes.
And we both sang along to Celine Dion.
And Tony Braxton.
It's all coming back to me now.
And unbreak my heart.
Yeah, I think that's your favorite song.
Say you love me again.
I'm pretty sure that's your favorite song.
Fourth grade Kyle was very distraught over a breakup.
You cried.
I cried in bed to that song.
Well, R.I.P. fourth grade Kyle and Bill Cobbs.
Yes.
Not Bill Cosby.
We hardly knew ye.
And then we have Robert Towne.
Yes. From The Hollywood Reporter, the screenwriter as superstar whose Oscar-winning work on the 1974 classic Chinatown is widely recognized as the gold standard for movie scripts, has passed away at 89.
And he wrote the movie Shampoo with Warren Beatty.
Oh.
Which is based on Mr. Spider himself, John Peters.
Spider.
The producer, John Peters, was a hairdresser in his early career, but a straight hairdresser. And that's the gimmick of Shampoo.
Ah.
And then
very nice.
John Peters went on to become obsessed with spiders and put it in the Wild Wild West.
Oh. Look at that.
Yeah.
Towne was also highly regarded for his work as a script doctor, contributing to the Marlon Brando garden scene in The Godfather.
Which is a classic scene.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy the parody in Mafia a little bit more.
Mafia has its moments. Yeah. It will get a few laughs out of you.
So thank you to him for allowing me to laugh at Mafia, because without that garden scene, we wouldn't have had, the guy with stuffing the orange in his mouth.
Right. He goes like, with the watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
And he has the shape of half of the watermelon in his face. And then later on in the Vegas years, the two brothers are fighting and one of them has a bad coke addiction. Yeah. She's like, I'm fine. What are you talking about? And he goes, and his nostrils like this big. Mafia.
Yeah.
So Mafia, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes.
That's on the playlist.
Crushing it, yeah.
I heard that Robert Towne, he loved to talk.
Oh.
So if you went out to lunch with him, he would talk your head off. And he always had a project going. Mm-hmm. So he had a million ideas, always had a project going, and very rarely did they ever get made.
Yeah.
So he was notorious for this, where he always said, oh, you're not going to believe what I'm working on, and it never would see the light of day.
That's hilarious, because he has a lot going on. He wrote The Firm and Days of Thunder and was credited as the writer for the first two Mission Impossible movies. So that's hilarious that he's got so much going on and people are still like, that'll never happen.
Yeah. I guess he just, he was kind of like a man about town.
Yeah.
Based on his name, too.
I mean, that's probably more of him just like talking and people are like, yeah, okay.
Which is very common here in Tinseltown.
Some people just like to hear the sound of their own voice.
You always hear that, what people are working on. And then you also hear, oh, I had the idea for such and such show or movie, and they stole it from me.
Yeah. In 2017, Vulture placed him as number 3 on its list of the 100 best screenwriters of all time.
Wow.
Only Billy Wilder and Joel and Ethan Coen ranked higher.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some bangers.
He does. And Chinatown is generally considered to be a great American film.
Yeah.
directed by Roman Polanski.
Whoa. Yeah, I still have to see that. I've never seen it.
It might be a slightly overpraised.
Really?
In my opinion.
It's a revenge movie, right? Kind of. No.
What do you? No, you're thinking of Kill Bill.
Yeah. I love a good revenge movie.
It's got some disturbing stuff in it.
Okay.
I'll watch it with you sometime. I haven't seen it in a while.
All right.
All right. So R.I.P. Robert Towne.
Yes.
Great writer.
Also R.I.P. Colonel Mustard. Martin Mull.
Very funny guy.
Very funny guy. Not such a nice guy.
Really?
Patton Oswalt had a bit about not wanting to meet his idols anymore because he met Martin Mull. He's like, he's my hero. And he just totally blew him off and wasn't very nice to him. And he's like, it's always the people who you don't respect their comedy that end up being the nicest people. He's like, because Martin Mull was such a dick and I was in love with that man. And then I met, what was the name?
Carrot Top?
No, Bruce Valanche.
Hold on. Who the fuck does Patton Oswalt think he is? Really?
And he said Bruce Valanche was the nicest guy he's ever met.
Okay. What? Throwing so much shade?
Well, Patton Oswalt, doesn't strike me as a very big Hollywood Squares guy.
Yeah, but to throw so much shade at Bruce Valanche, what did he do to him? Granted, he's a big guy. You'd need a lot of shade, but still.
He didn't make him laugh. Nice.
But really, who does Patton Oswalt think he is?
Who the fuck are you, man?
Let's talk about his wife that died.
Oh, Jesus. Future episode.
I'm not saying anything, but
you're not?
in that documentary, why is he so obsessed with showing us every screenshot of him saying, "Hey, honey,
I didn't kill her.
You want some coffee? I'm in the neighborhood. How come you're not answering? Hello?"
Yeah. I was a huge Patton Oswalt fan for a long time. He kind of lost me when
he was embarrassed with that photo with Dave Chappelle.
And he he had someone take a picture of him writing a letter to his fans, and it's like,
this is what I'm saying.
What are you doing?
And for him to speak ill of Martin Mull?
Yeah. He apologized to his fans for being friends with Dave Chappelle, which they have known each other. They did their first young comedy special together on HBO. Like, they've known each other for a very long time.
And maybe Martin Mull wasn't such a big Patton Oswalt fan. I don't blame him.
Yes, I guess. Yeah.
He's likable, sort of, in the past. Not really anymore.
Yeah.
No, but I get it. I can see why people enjoy him. He's got a fun kind of presence sometimes.
Sure.
But I think sometimes the real Patton comes out.
Yeah.
And it's not so pleasant.
Yeah.
Future episode, we'll get more into it.
Martin Mull's daughter, Maggie, announced his death on Instagram, saying, "I'm heartbroken to share that my father passed away at home on June 27th after a valiant fight against a long illness, which we found out to be lung cancer.
Yeah.
He was known for excelling at every creative discipline imaginable and also for doing Red Roof Inn commercials."
Well, hey, got to pay the bills.
Yeah, that's
what a
hilarious.
good gig. What a good gig that would be.
Everything he's ever been in, and she mentions Red Roof Inn. He would find that joke funny, she said. He was never not funny. My dad will be deeply missed by his wife and daughter, by his friends and coworkers, by fellow artists, comedians, musicians, and the sign of a truly exceptional person by many, many dogs. I loved him tremendously, she wrote.
He is in one of my favorite movies ever, which you mentioned, Clue. Colonel Mustard. And I'm not saying that facetiously.
It's a great film.
I grew up watching that probably once a week.
I had it on VHS, so yeah, we watched it all the time.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it never got old for me and my siblings.
No, never. It was like watching it for the first time every time. And did you have all the endings?
Yeah.
At the end? Yeah, that was fun.
In the theater, it was a different ending at each screening.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But on VHS, they played them all at once.
Wow.
That was such a cool gimmick.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, and then Martin Mull teamed up with Fred Willard quite a few times on Fernwood Tonight.
Gave each other a little smoochy smooch.
And Roseanne.
Roseanne, yeah. They were a gay couple on Roseanne.
Which was, I think that was pretty much ahead of its time.
Oh, absolutely.
In the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s.
And it was played for laughs a little bit.
Right.
But it also was pretty tender, I would say.
Oh, that's what they would say, too. Ooh, this is tender.
I'm, of course, referring to Fred Willard's bottom.
Colon.
Yeah, just a funny guy. He was in friend of the show's Alex Salkin's sitcom.
Oh,
Dads.
Right.
With Peter Reigart.
Shout out to the incredible Salk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said Mull was nominated for an Emmy in 2016 for his guest role as political aide Bob Bradley in Veep. I've never seen Veep, but I heard it's a great show.
Everybody loves Veep.
Yeah.
I never really got into it.
That's what everybody likes. It's either Raymond or Veep.
Yeah. Wait, whoa. What are you talking? Everybody loves... Oh,
you just walked right into
Oh, my God. You fucking... That was good. Because I had to process it. I'm like, are you comparing Raymond to Veep?
That was perfect.
Yeah, good. Bravo. All I was thinking is, I don't know what I was thinking. Veep, though, it's not that I don't like it. I just didn't continue with it. I saw a couple episodes.
Yeah.
But
most recently, he had made guest appearances on The After Party, Not Dead Yet, and Grace and Frankie.
Oof, not dead yet.
Whoa, hey.
Don't speak so soon.
Turn that on its head. He guested in 2015 on NBC Comedy Community as George Perry, the father of Jillian Jacobs' Britta Perry, and on the CBS comedy Life in Pieces.
Never even heard of that one.
I don't remember him being on 2.5 Men, but he was 5 years, I guess, 2008 to 2013.
Oh, like a regular.
A recurring role as a pharmacist who uses and sells drugs illegally.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I came to learn that 2.5 Men, at first I hated it, but in the end, I would see it was when I went to Chile.
Yeah.
I was living there for a time, and they would play all the American sitcoms there. They were popular, like Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men. And that's where I saw a couple episodes fully for the first time, and there were a few moments that made me laugh.
Nice.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm saying ain't no shame in it, Martin Mull. That show still had some laughs.
Yeah. He also recurred on Arrested Development as a incompetent private investigator named Gene Parmesan.
See, the name's already funny.
Yeah. And like you said, regular on Seth MacFarlane's Fox comedy Dads, starring Seth Green and Giovanni Ribisi, Scientologist Ribisi.
Okay. He was pretty quiet when Danny Masterson was going through his
was.
stuff.
In 2008, he was on Law & Order SVU as Dr. Gideon Hutton, whose denial of the existence of AIDS leads to his conviction for willful negligence in the deaths of several patients.
So he did drama, too.
He did.
Unless that was a comedy.
He did it all. Yeah, it was a very wacky laugh track courtroom session about AIDS patients dying.
And I have an interesting little tidbit here.
Ooh.
Bob Saget,
Whoa.
before he died, he was working on a Martin Mull documentary.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In fact, he was really into it.
Yeah.
And then he died, and I don't think that is being finished anytime soon. But I heard him talking about it on Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal podcast. And it was like a big-time passion project for him, this Martin Mull documentary.
Wow.
And now they're all gone.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just...
Even Fred Willard.
Yeah.
Oof.
And even Roseanne, the character.
Yeah. I thought the bitch was white.
They killed her off. And then the show lasted another 6 seasons or so.
Yeah.
After getting rid of Roseanne, how can Roseanne go on without Roseanne?
Now it's the Connors.
But that's so ludicrous that they did that. What backstabbers.
Yeah.
I don't care how crazy she was.
People want a paycheck.
I guess. Maybe I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Speaking of Bruce Vilanch,
Okay.
from 1998 to 2004, I do remember this. Mull was a regular on Hollywood Squares.
Oh, yeah.
Many of them in the center square position, which was either Bruce Vilanch sometimes or Whoopi Goldberg
Yep.
and Martin Mull.
I mean, to fill Whoopi's shoes.
Hey, Karen's. Martin Eugene Mull, he was born in Chicago. His mother was an actress and director, and his father was a carpenter, like Jesus Christ himself.
Mm-hmm.
They moved to Ohio when he was 2. When he was 15, they moved to Connecticut. He studied painting and graduated from the Rhode Island School of Design.
Accomplished painter.
RISD, which is also where Charles Rocket went.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Wow.
I didn't know he was an East Coast guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we could go through his entire IMDb, but there's you know who he is.
Yeah.
Go pay homage and watch some of his stuff. There's one thing I want to see with him and Fred Willard from 1985, the history of white people in America.
What is that?
It's a mockumentary that they made in 1985, and it sounds hilarious.
Okay, yeah, we got to see that.
I had never even heard of it before.
I haven't either.
Until this past week, so that's going to be on my watch list.
So R.I.P. Martin Mull.
Yes.
And that brings us to another legend.
Legend.
Mr. Bob Newhart.
Yes, from the show Newhart.
And the Bob Newhart Show. And a third sitcom called Bob.
Bob. I honestly, I will jump on the bomb for this one. I thought he died like a while ago.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, he wasn't around for a long time.
Right.
Bob Newhart, the beloved stand-up performer whose droll, deadpan humor showcased on 2 critically acclaimed CBS sitcoms, vaulted him into the ranks of history's greatest comedians, died Thursday morning at 94.
Yeah.
That's a great run.
It is. He was in a lot of movies. He did Elf.
Yep.
And he did, In and Out with Kevin Kline. Do you remember that movie?
It sounds familiar.
Where Matt Dillon wins an Oscar and then dedicates the Oscar to his acting teacher, Kevin Kline, who's engaged to Joan Cusack in the movie.
Yep.
But then in his speech, he goes, and he's gay.
Oh, fuck.
And so then everyone in the town is suddenly like, wait, are you gay? I thought you're marrying Joan Cusack.
Yeah.
So that's the whole premise. And Bob Newhart is one of the townspeople.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it's a funny movie.
Wow.
And then he also he was on The Big Bang Theory, speaking of.
Oh.
So he worked till the end, basically. Well, maybe not the end,
yeah.
but mostly.
For all intents and purposes, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Bob Newhart Show was a very popular sitcom in the 70s.
Yep.
And then he did Newhart, which was very irreverent and hilarious. That was my favorite of his.
Yeah.
The one in the 80s.
They're saying that this Newhart is one of the most admired series endings in history.
It absolutely is.
I never saw it. I don't think. I don't.
Oh, really? You don't know what happens?
Nope.
So the last episode, it turns out it was all a dream.
Oh, God.
No, but it was fun. No, because
That's the worst.
But hold on. That trope was not overused then.
Okay.
It was more original then.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the quirky townsfolk from Newhart, the whole setup where it was like, it's like a Twin Peaks type setup, but funny.
Yeah.
Although Twin Peaks is very funny too. But so he wakes up and who's in the bed with him? But it's Susan Pleshette, his wife from the first show he had in the 70s.
Holy crapola.
You get this?
You get it? You getting it?
So his original sitcom character wakes up, and it turns out he dreamt the whole 80s series. So now he's back with his original wife.
Hey. Okay. Yeah.
It's clever.
I like that. All right.
And then he tells her, like, oh, you're never going to believe it. There were all these weird friends I had, and they were quirky.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, go back to bed.
Oh, that's cool.
And Bryan Cranston parodied it one time for a short video, that ending, because him and the mom from Malcolm in the Middle, they wake up and then she's like, what was your dream about? He's like, I was married to this hot blonde woman and I made meth and sold it and had cancer.
Nice.
Anyway.
I like that.
All right. R.I.P. Mr. Bob Newhart.
Yes.
Who do we got next, Kyle?
Unfortunately, we have Benji Gregory, who was the son in Alf.
Not to be confused with Elf,
Yeah.
which featured Bob Newhart.
That's right. Benji, not to be confused with the dog from the 80s and 90s.
Or Cameron Diaz's husband,
Yes.
Benji Madden,
Yeah.
from that one group.
No relation to Good Charlotte. He died in a very
This was weird.
terrifying way.
Yeah.
They found him dead along with his service dog in his car on June 13th. They were in a bank parking lot in Arizona, and they had noticed that it's been parked there for like way too long, so they went to go check and found them both dead. They said that he fell asleep and died from vehicular heat stroke.
So he was sleeping theoretically in there already and
Yeah.
died in his sleep, or what?
He had a medical condition, which is why he had the service dog. And I think, he was just didn't have a lot of energy, so ended up just falling asleep, parked in the car. I mean, when it's really hot out, all I can do is sleep. So I can imagine how tired he must have felt.
Except for yesterday where we went to the Dodgers game
And melted.
and then watched a bunch of music videos.
Yes. They said Arizona was in the middle of a heat wave with a high of 108 and 111. It got up to 111. So in the car, that's like 200 degrees. Ben was a great son, brother, and uncle. He was fun to be around and made us laugh quite often. Still going through his things, I find myself laughing at little videos or notes of his in between crying, his sister wrote.
He
He was a cute little kid on Alf,
Mm-hmm.
which Alf has the dad.
Yeah.
It's odd to be a little kid around that guy who was doing meth and having sex with male prostitutes between takes.
Oh, okay. So that's what he was doing. It wasn't anything criminal.
Other than buying and
Well, no,
abusing
you get what I
methamphetamine.
mean. It wasn't like.
Yeah.
Never mind. No, I knew he was.
Prostitution. I mean, there's a
knew
lot of illegal things.
He was up to nefarious things. I just confused. I didn't know if it was like
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein type stuff.
No,
or...
it was, he was just having his own personal fun,
Got it.
which just happens to be illegal at every step of the way.
Yes. And it's kind of odd when it's like a TV dad.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all kind of fucked up, those TV dads.
Mr. Alan Thicke.
And Bob Saget.
Well, Bob never did anything illegal.
No, oh, whoa, you are passionate.
Bob
Wow, I just woke you up.
Bob did not do anything illegal.
Well, I didn't say he
How
did.
dare you?
I didn't say
He's the
did.
only actual American televised dad that I can stand behind.
Get out of here. I'm a big fan.
Reginald Vell Johnson was having sex with Pete Diddy, apparently.
And that wasn't illegal.
No.
How dare you denigrate Reginald Vell Johnson?
Oh,
He was America's dad.
that's
And
true.
you're judging him by his sexual partners?
Not at all.
All right.
Not at
And
all.
Bob Saget, I was just saying, he wrote a book called Dirty Daddy.
Oh.
So I'm saying that they're dark, a lot of these TV dads.
They are.
He had a dark sense of humor.
That's true.
All right,
That
get
is
out
true.
of here.
Moving on.
What did Alf have to say about all this?
I'm going to eat the cat. Michael Mosley died of natural causes, police say.
Okay, nice transition. We just Mosleyed on over to the
Hey.
next section.
An initial post-mortem examination on the body of Dr. Michael Mosley has concluded he died of natural causes. The TV presenter's remains were found in a rocky area on the Greek island of, I think, Simi, on Sunday, 4 days after he went missing while on holiday.
And this is the man who made intermittent fasting popular.
Ah,
He wrote the book on the 5-2 diet,
gotcha.
where 2 days a week you have 600 calories.
Oh,
That was his big thing, like in 2013.
no kidding.
Yeah. And it was a fad.
Yeah. All these people who do all these health books always die early.
Yeah, you're thinking of Dr. Adkins?
Yes.
And then Jerome, what's his name, from that we talked about in the Lost Media episode? Remember he dropped dead on the Dick Cavett show?
Yes.
I think, and then the runner.
Yeah, the jogger.
Yeah, my mind can't come up with any names right now. I want to say Fix.
Jim Fix.
Fix.
Yeah.
The Fix was in.
Hey, the Fix was Jim.
The Vicks. You may need some Vicks.
Yeah, might need something. We need the next story. This is very sad. This guy had a very slow motion decline that was very hard to look at. Shifty Shellshock, frontman of Crazy Town, dead at 49. Come, my baby, come, my baby. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. I saw a video.
Ubiquitous song,
Absolutely.
by the way, from our time. This is when we were coming of age
Yes.
in high school,
Yep.
and this song was everywhere.
You couldn't get away from it.
Yeah,
It was like Crazy Town.
it was.
His name was Seth Binzer, and he was discovered at his own home. The cause of death, obviously, accidental drug overdose. He was struggling for a long, long time. There was a video that came out a few months ago, and I was showing people like, holy shit, have you seen the singer of Crazy Town? He looks awful. He had been homeless, and he looked homeless. I don't think he had any of his natural teeth anymore.
Yeah, I know.
It was brutal.
When I first saw those photos, I was shell-shocked.
Hello. Yeah, so just a sad, sad thing.
Yeah. No, it is, though. But you told me something that I couldn't really find any real facts on that.
Oh, yeah?
You told me that he was possibly dating Punky Brewster.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yahoo News posted that Shifty Shellshock and Punky Brewster,
Soleil Moonfry.
yes, were in a relationship, and it was 5 days before he was found dead.
That's true.
I mean,
I don't know why. I find it hard to believe that she would be dating him if he was in such a bad state.
I mean, she's got some bodies.
She does have a large body count. She's rivaling the Clintons
Exactly.
at this point. If you saw that documentary, Kid 90 on Hulu, and I'm actually starting preliminary research on a Jonathan Brandis episode.
Yes.
But she was very close to him. She was close to the cast of Kids, of which 90% died. And then she had another friend that just killed himself one day.
Yes.
The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then now there's Shifty Shellshock.
Soleil Moonfry is mourning the death of ex-boyfriend Shifty Shellshock.
X.
Only because he died. They were together when he died. She said, "My heart is whispering a million.
That's
I
a
love
little
you."
callous to say X like the day after someone dies.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
My heart is whispering a million I love yous for the way that you loved my children and I so unconditionally. One picture included the late singer with Fry's children as they decorated a Christmas tree. Shellshock born Seth Binzer died, yes. Fry, who had been romantically linked to Binzer in late 2021, continued her tribute, writing, "I can still see your smiling sweet face in middle school when you kissed me in your tunnel of love and the way you swept me away again as we grew up to show me what that timeless kind of love feels like. No words could ever express the love we shared or how we are feeling right now. It is a language all to its own."
She's like, your beautiful toothless smile.
Yeah. Oh, man. She must be doing some drugs or something, too, because there's no way you date a guy like that without doing it.
That's what I'm saying. And that
Oh, she looked
documentary, just the amount of dysfunctional environments she was around most of her life.
Yeah.
Especially starting out in the 80s. Because remember, she was called Punky Boobster.
Yeah. And then she cut her boobs
Yeah,
off.
she got breast reduction surgery.
That's spitting in the face of God.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe it's not so comfortable carrying those things around.
Suck it up.
I can attest, by the way.
Oh, R.I.P. Shifty Shellshock.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tragedy.
It is.
And I just want to mention one more thing.
Okay.
On the Brittany Murphy episode, you made fun of me for bringing up Paul Oakenfold, the DJ who produced Brittany Murphy's track.
Yeah.
And I said, look, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I like the beat, and Brittany Murphy has a good voice.
Sure.
Well, I feel vindicated. Because that same DJ,
I am selfish, I am wrong.
Paul Oakenfold, he had another song in the 2000s called Starry Eye Surprise, starry-eyed surprise.
Yes.
And Shifty Shellshock was the singer on it.
Oh.
And that was another kind of guilty pleasure of mine. You know, I would blast it on my MP3 player back in the day.
Yeah.
My first one, by the way.
Wow.
And I went on YouTube to watch this video, and all the comments say the same things that I've always been saying. They're like, man, like this makes me think of times gone by and just how fun it was in the early 2000s, just dancing outside on a summer night. This song brings a smile to my face, and I could just remember your callous judging of me for liking Paul Oakenfold.
Very wistful.
Okay, that went on long. Do you have any thoughts or?
Nope.
Okay.
I stand by my statement.
All right.
So R.I.P. Shifty, and R.I.P. to this next gentleman who everybody knows, Donald Sutherland.
This is Hollywood royalty.
Yeah. One of my favorite, 5 seconds of video ever. It's just, I'm going to pass out just doing that.
That's another one I'm surprised you've even seen.
Body Snatch.
Yeah, the original. Well, not the original. The 70s version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Easily the best version.
Ooh.
Don't you think?
High praise.
Don't you think?
I didn't see the other one.
Okay. Well, it's been remade multiple times. There was the original one in the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one in the 1990s, which is very good, too. And then there was a horrible one with Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig.
Oh, Jesus.
In the 2000s. So the 70s one is the best. And Donald Sutherland became famous for MASH, directed by Robert Altman.
Hey.
And him and Elliot Gould, they had unbelievable chemistry. They were a couple of comic wise guys.
Yeah.
Just cracking jokes the whole time and drinking martinis and playing golf.
That's awesome.
All under the backdrop of the Korean War.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
He was an authority-loathing surgeon, Hawkeye Pierce, in MASH. With a heavy heart, I tell you that my father, Donald Sutherland, has passed away. Son, Kiefer Sutherland, posted.
Yeah, daddy to Kiefer.
Yeah. I personally think one of the most important actors in the history of film. He talks about his dad.
I thought you were saying that.
Never daunted by a role.
Well, he's biased, let's be fair.
Yeah. Daddy was the best. Never daunted by a role, good, bad, or ugly. He loved what he did and did what he loved.
Ugly?
And one can never ask for more than that. A life well lived.
So good at playing villains, too.
Oh, yeah.
In Outbreak.
In the Hunger Games.
He's so ruthless. Yeah, the Hunger Games.
Yep.
But in Outbreak, he wants to blow up a whole California town.
Hell yeah.
Just because they might have the virus.
Take it down. He was the pot-smoking professor in Animal House.
Very memorable role.
John Landis.
Yeah, he was like a cool hippie kind of teacher.
Yeah. He was a pod person in the 1978 horror remake Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
18th century Venetian explorer, 1976, Fellini's Casanova, with director Federico Fellini.
He worked with a lot of great directors.
Yeah.
And then he also was just a great supporting actor. For instance, in this movie called 6 Degrees of Separation, Stockard Channing stole the show.
Okay.
She's magnificent in this movie. But I think that his performance as her husband really propels her, and he doesn't get enough credit for that.
And we're here to give him that credit.
Yeah, I really think you need Donald Sutherland in the movies.
Yeah.
He was always entertaining. And in an interview with the BBC in 2001, he said that he lived a very happy life, that he just, everything basically just worked out, and he was grateful.
Yeah.
And so he just loved what he was doing. There was no like attitude or ego with him.
Yeah. Emmy Award winner and the patriarch of his own family of actors and entertainment professionals. Sutherland is inarguably the greatest Hollywood actor never to earn a single Oscar nomination.
That is, I can't believe that.
Criminal.
Yeah.
He was most egregiously overlooked for his widely praised Ordinary People role.
Oh, yeah. That was a huge movie at that time.
He was the screen husband to Mary Tyler Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw one of her 6 Oscar nominations from that movie.
Was she really nominated 6 times, or the movie got 6 nominations? I think the movie.
Oh, maybe the movie did.
I don't
yeah.
think she was nominated.
Yeah, it says,
many.
which saw screen wife Mary Tyler Moore earn 1 of 6 Oscar nominations.
And Timothy Hutton won the Oscar for playing the troubled son.
Yeah.
And that was directed by Robert Redford, who won Best Director versus Martin Scorsese,
Oh.
who was up
take
for
that.
Raging Bull, if you can believe it.
Wow.
And then exactly a decade later, Scorsese was up for Goodfellas and lost to Kevin Costner, Best Director.
Yeah.
So he lost to 2 actors twice for movies you could argue were masterpieces.
Wow.
Suck on that.
Suck on that.
Do we have anything more about Mr. Sutherland?
He was fantastic and gone too soon.
And great, great. What am I looking for? The family, the
Legacy.
lineage.
Lineage.
No, there you go. Because Kiefer is a great actor too,
Yeah.
right?
He's been in a few things.
Okay.
The
yeah.
Lost Boys, 24.
Kyle can't hide his disdain.
I like Kiefer Sutherland.
All right.
What are you talking about?
One of the funniest Jiminy Glick moments is when he's on the red carpet and he sees Kiefer Sutherland up ahead and he keeps yelling, Kiefer! 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 And it gets funnier and funnier the more he says the name Kiefer.
Yeah.
All right, you had to be there.
I'll watch it.
And watches inside the actor studio.
Ooh.
It's
I haven't-
very shocking, some of his answers.
Whoa.
To the questionnaire by Bernard Pivot. All right, and who do we got next, Kyle?
We have Shelley Duvall.
This one, oh my gosh.
Yep. This is a big, big one.
And another Altman alum.
Olive Oil,
Robert Altman directed Popeye,
which is crazy to me.
a classic family movie.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, Shelley Duvall, the perfect olive oil.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because she got the slender frame. She's got the comedic chops.
Yeah.
Just perfect.
Right.
And she sang the song He Needs Me in the movie.
Yeah.
And then Paul Thomas Anderson was such an Altman fanatic that he morphed that into the score for Punch Drunk Love.
Whoa.
So he took the Popeye song, and that's the set piece in Hawaii.
Wow.
So I thought that was brilliant when I first saw Punch Drunk Love, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Because it's such a great homage to not only Shelley Duvall, but just to Altman in general.
Yeah.
Because no one would ever do that but Paul Thomas Anderson.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then Shelley Duvall was in a bunch of other Robert Altman movies, almost exclusively in the 1970s. She started out with Brewster McCloud, which is one of his weirdest movies. Altman followed up MASH, starring the great Donald Sutherland,
Yep.
with a movie called Brewster McCloud it features Bud Cort from Harold and Maude
Okay.
trying to learn how to fly. So he's constructing wings the entire time.
Ah.
And it makes no sense at all. So that's her first movie. And she went on to be in Thieves Like Us.
Yep.
And she was in the movie Nashville. Three Women, very underrated. I got to show you this someday. It's one of my favorite movies, period.
Whoa.
It's like surreal. But yet it's one of those surreal movies where like David Lynch pulled it off with Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
One of the few, I would say, that fully delivers and everybody agrees that it just works.
Wow.
Because you know how some lesser filmmakers strive to be surreal?
Yes.
And it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Not this one. This is great. And I don't even want to say anything about the plot.
Yeah,
You
I'm
just
gonna-
have to see it.
It's high praise.
And then she won the Best Actress award at Cannes for that movie. Or at Cannes, excuse
Cannes.
me. Yeah, Cannes.
Cans. You got the big tit award.
Yeah, I was-
Cans.
I was still thinking of Punky Brewster.
Yeah.
So then, of course, Popeye. And you know what? She appeared in the same year as Popeye.
I don't know. Oh, The Shining.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was going to do the Jeopardy. The Shining.
Wow.
Which, okay.
That's crazy.
I did a little tribute to her on social media, and I said she had great acting range because in the same year, she's hilarious and sweet in
Yeah.
Popeye, and then she's just terrorized in The Shining and absolutely devastating. And then in the comments, people are like, that was only because Stanley Kubrick was abusing her on set,
yeah, geez.
like verbally, and that he was putting her through the ringer. And I'm like, okay, some of that is true, yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's definitely true, but you can't take away from her performance.
Yeah, why would you say that that's the reason why she gave
it's not like she wasn't still acting.
Yeah, exactly.
And I actually think her scream in that movie when he's like breaking the door down with the axe, that's the greatest scream in cinema history.
Whoa.
There's no better blood-curdling scream than Shelley Duvall in The Shining.
That you're just hitting high praise with Shelley.
I'm a huge fan.
Shelley with high praise.
Yes. And then she did fairy tale theater in the 1980s, and that was a staple of my childhood.
Wow.
Was that of yours?
No.
Oh boy, you missed out.
No, just Limp Bizkit in Lincoln Park.
It's a. I'm talking about when I was younger.
Okay, it was just Tony Braxton.
It's a wonderful show for kids, fairy tale theater.
Wow.
So anyway, then she moved to Texas, fell off the map, I guess with the Northridge earthquake.
Yeah.
She decided to leave Hollywood.
Wow, that's 1996.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And then she was suffering some mental illness
issues,
and talked with aliens or something.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Phil tracked her down. And he's like,
that's right.
Let's exploit this.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, she passed away at 75 at home in her sleep in Blanco, Texas. Complications of diabetes. So I think she wasn't treating herself the way she was
probably not
supposed to.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But,
very sad.
She had a good run.
I don't think she realizes how beloved she actually was.
I hope that she knew that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Especially she should have talked to you.
I know.
Christ.
I know. She was also in Annie Hall, by the way.
Yep.
She was in a lot of classic movies. Roxanne with Steve Martin. And then maybe the most classic comedy, Suburban Commando.
Ah.
She played Christopher Lloyd's wife.
Wow.
The Hulk Hogan vehicle.
Vehicle. It's very sad. She was great.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a television interview, and I guess it was Dr. Phil that I saw.
And Vivian Kubrick, the daughter of the late Stanley, blasted Dr. Phil for that.
Wow. That's crazy.
Well, it's the usual.
Yeah.
He takes advantage of people's mental illness.
Yes. Yep. That and the Kill Tony show. Take advantage of people's mental illness.
Yeah.
And other things.
Are we doing it wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
Very wrong. R.I.P. Shelley Duvall. Any parting words?
No, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And then this last trio,
yeah,
I'm going to kind of group together because they died the same weekend. And they died the weekend of the Trump shooting.
Yeah.
So why don't we start out here with
Dr. Ruth.
Do you remember her growing up?
I sure do.
She was such a personality. Like, why should we as little kids know who Dr. Ruth is? She was everywhere.
Talking about Cox.
She was always like used comedically, of course.
Yeah.
But she would guest star on tons of shows and movies.
Dr. Ruth, and then there was another woman who I confused her with.
You're thinking of Joyce Brothers.
Yes.
I think. That was another. She was much worse than Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, she was very
Or
crass.
there's Sue.
Oh, that's
the
probably
Canadian.
Yes,
ex.
that's okay. So
Yeah.
when we were talking about with Ben, I was like, she was Canadian, right? And he was like, no. So that's who I was thinking of.
I think Sue Johansson.
Yes.
We talked about her in our last In Memoriam.
Yes.
So she died last year.
Yeah, she was Canadian. That's who I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah, it's Johansson, right?
Yeah, Sue Johansson and Dr. Ruth were like the popular sex therapists when we were children.
Yeah.
And we knew them.
Something about a mature,
Yeah, an old lady.
old,
Talk
a
about
funny lady
cum.
giving sex advice was just very appealing in the 90s.
Yeah.
Because I think it's someone that knows their shit,
Yeah.
right?
And she's been around the block.
And they're funny.
Right.
And they're non-threatening.
Mm-hmm. She was 96 years old. She died peacefully at home in New York City. And the cause
New York City.
New York City! The cause of death was not publicly shared, but I think we can all agree 96 years old. I think the cause of death was being 96 years old.
Yeah, we don't need to investigate that way. Yeah, a very full life.
Yeah.
And this one, he wasn't so young, but it still feels a little soon for some reason.
Yes.
Mr. Richard Simmons, the incomparable.
Sweating to the old.
The fabulous.
Yeah. My Nana used to have his tapes and would watch them every once in a while, but would sit down and watch them and just kind of like laugh.
So he'd be going, "Come on, lady."
Yeah.
And she just sits there.
Yeah. And we're just smiling watching it.
I wish I was exposed to it like that. I never.
Oh, my Nana had like a stack of Richard Simmons
Wow.
tapes. It was hilarious. They said Richard Simmons' final social media post is being shared in his memory. The late fitness icon's last message in a photo that he had prepared before his death on July 13th was revealed by his staff on social media. They wrote, "Richard worked very hard on his post for you. He had many ideas and would work ahead, going back to each one and making changes until he had it just like he wanted before posting. On the weekends, he would share just a photo with a caption. He always chose his photos and wrote his captions for the upcoming weekend by Friday. So we have the post Richard planned to share with you last Sunday. We thought you'd want to see it." And it's him getting ready to blast off into the afterlife in a NASA spacesuit.
He loved costumes.
Yeah.
He was a frequent guest on the Howard Stern show.
Which I didn't know until you showed me him like storming off and getting into fights with Howard.
That was later, but they were actually real friends in the late 80s and early 90s.
Wow.
And then Howard often referred to this one incident where he had Richard over for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And then Richard was trying to make everyone laugh and started throwing all the sandwiches in the pool.
Oh, he probably got so mad.
And then turning trays over and stuff to get a laugh. And that was the last time he was at his house. But Richard named Howard's daughter Deborah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I did not realize that.
And yeah, so a lot of classic moments. And then David Letterman sort of copied Howard, and then he would have Richard Simmons on.
Yeah.
And then it was always a shtick where Richard acts like he's kind of has a crush on Letterman. And then Letterman acts like, he wants him at arm's length.
Yeah.
That was their shtick together.
That's funny.
Very funny appearances, of course. And then later on, Richard would get more serious. He went to Congress, I believe.
Oh, wow.
For a bill about physical education.
Oh, very nice.
And whatnot. Well, anyway, we all know Richard, and he was batshit too.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
He was hilarious.
But always hilarious, always entertaining. And he had a famous gym called Slimmins in Beverly Hills for years.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then, but he was always, he would give everything to his fans and, because he was a big weight loss guru. So he would make phone calls every day. And it's very moving how seriously he took it.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about like a woman that was 800 pounds and doesn't have in her mind much to live for.
Yep.
And he would change their life.
Because it's a manifestation of depression most of the time when people get that big.
And then he'd visit them, hug them, and say that he loved them.
Yeah. And that
happened over and over.
It's amazing. Yeah. He would be crying. They'd be crying. He's a very emotionally intelligent person and knew deep down because he had to lose weight too.
Horrific the bullying he said he received.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up in New Orleans.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then he even said, I believe it was on Howard one time in one of his last appearances, he said that one bully was so awful to him. I think like hit him with a baseball bat or something.
Oh.
And then later in life came to him. Sorry, I don't know why I'm crying.
Oh, shit. We got you finally.
Oh, my God.
Wow. I did not see Richard Simmons' death being the one that got you.
I'm hungover.
Holy shit. Wow.
I can't even.
Wow.
Um,
The end of the episode here.
I know. This
Finally
is crazy.
gotcha. I'm the crier.
The bully
Yeah.
had a wife that was obese and
Oh,
asked
shit.
Richard for help.
Wow.
And then Richard helped him out.
Wow.
Anyway.
Damn, I'm starting to tear up now.
Yeah.
That's powerful shit, man.
Well, he was just an altruistic guy.
Yeah.
I think it's the weight of all these deaths actually hitting me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff going on.
This is a lot going on.
And I'm hungover.
We're hungover. It's hot in here.
So don't judge me.
It's a little dusty.
Yeah, and I was cutting some onions. I was
Yes.
making chili earlier. Okay, so R.I.P. Richard Simmons.
Yeah. Holy
I
shit.
may have to edit that part out.
Hell no.
All right, so what do we got for the last one here,
It
Kyle?
stays. Shannon Doherty. This is a tough one. She was very young, 53 years old, but she had been struggling with cancer for a long time.
Yeah.
It was very tough to watch. You could tell she just wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
And was still like beefing with Rose McGowan and other people over the treatment of Charmed, everyone on Charmed.
But I don't think beefing with Rose McGowan. I think
They were on the same team. It was against Alyssa Milano.
who we've decided wasn't such a nice person.
Yes. Yeah, she... oof.
Thank God she got that out, though, before she went.
Yeah.
Because Alyssa
you, bitch, I'm
Milano...
out.
Yeah, speaking of bullies, she sounded like one.
Yeah.
And then now she's having GoFundMe or Kickstarter for her son's baseball team.
Yeah, trying to get $10,000 like she can't afford that.
When she's a famous rich celebrity.
Yeah, and then she said she didn't have the money, and then she took her son to the Super Bowl like the next week.
Oh my
The
God.
most expensive trip you could possibly ask for in America.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. The Variety says Doherty rose to fame in 1990 as the fresh-faced brunette Brenda Walsh on Beverly Hills 90210. Along with her twin brother Brandon, played by Jason Priestley, the Walshes were the classic fish out of water family that had recently moved from Minnesota to Beverly Hills and were constantly amazed by the antics of rich kids in LA.
Yeah, they were the breakout stars for sure.
Yeah.
Shannon Doherty was the face of it. And she didn't stay on the show that long. Another
Oh,
example,
really?
like another Farrah Fawcett type thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then she gave it a go in the movies. And unfortunately, her debut was Mallrats,
Oh, wow.
the Kevin Smith comedy.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people think is a classic.
Oh, I love it.
But it was a major flop in theaters at the time, and it was considered a letdown after his debut, Clerks.
Yes.
So that was, even Kevin Smith says, overpraised. It was just the indie darling of the year.
Yes.
And very profitable. And then Mallrats was just considered a disappointment.
Yeah.
But it is a very, I mean, what can you say? It's obviously a cult classic
Right.
and has stood the test of time, and it launched a lot of careers.
Mm.
And then Kevin Smith also went on to make Chasing Amy and Dogma after that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Shannon, she says she got tainted after that.
Oh, shit.
And so she really wasn't on the big screen that much after that.
Yeah.
But she did do Charmed.
She did. Yeah.
Not everyone can have more than one successful TV show.
She jumped from Beverly Hills 90210 to Charmed.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Charmed, obviously, the supernatural drama following three sisters who discover they're witches and must work together to fight evil.
Wow.
She played Prue Halliwell alongside Alyssa Milano and Holly Marie Combs. That's right, because Rose McGowan was replaced.
No, I believe Shannon left the show eventually.
Oh, okay.
Because Alyssa wanted her off the show.
Oh,
That's what happened.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Shannon had a podcast up until the day she died.
No way.
And I saw a clip of her talking about it. She openly was talking about morbid subjects.
Yeah.
And it's weird. You'd think it'd be really depressing and sad, the subject, because they were talking. She was saying how she wants her funeral to be and the party.
Oh,
she
wow.
was planning it. And she's laughing about it even.
Mm.
So she would really just bare her soul, but also talk about it frankly.
That's
she was
interesting.
battling it for years.
Yeah.
So I don't even think she thought she would die then.
Right.
That weekend she died. She thought because who knows at that point?
Yeah.
Because she was planning to do a Charmed rewatch podcast as well.
Oh, no kidding.
But this shows how good of a person she was. She didn't want to do it initially. She had no interest. And then decided, no, I'm going to do this to help out her former co-stars because it would boost them.
Yes.
So that she had signed on to do that and unfortunately died.
Wow.
So anyway, I mean, brave is the word that comes to mind. I mean, she really, and to do it so publicly.
Yeah.
Yeah, really remarkable.
Yeah, she was diagnosed with breast cancer in February 2015, and in 2007 announced she was in remission, but by 2019 the cancer returned and spread. That sucks.
I know. Way too young.
God. Yeah, she, like you said, the name of the podcast is called Let's Be Clear with Shannon Doherty, and she discussed her career and talked frankly about how breast cancer impacted her life.
I definitely recommend that. It's powerful.
I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, to hear someone facing a really bleak diagnosis.
Yeah.
With still being, entertaining and funny.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of people who would not want to be laughing about anything, and I've known people that get cancer and they're pissed, and
yeah, exactly.
It's yeah.
Why me and woe is me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Wow, I can't believe that I cried.
Yeah. Hey, we finally got you. I thought you didn't have a soul.
All right, R.I.P. Shannon Doherty.
And everybody that we just spoke about.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. to the charges against Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
What a...
And R.I.P. to the Biden campaign.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. to Trump's ear.
Yeah, you got Van Gogh.
Wow, that was no, you know what, though? There were some other times I disguised it.
Ooh.
No, because you have to understand. For one time I can think of right off the bat, Robin Williams.
Yes.
When I was preparing that episode, there were clips of Hook and Popeye, which I don't think I even ended up playing, which I think would make you cry now.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
There's a clip in Popeye where he's singing to
I know
his
exactly what you're
adopted
talking about.
son. I want to cry thinking about it now.
That just got me.
Yeah, because he says,
Oh.
Don't you cry, little sweet pea. Anyway.
Oh, God. Now I'm crying. Holy shit.
Because Sweet Pea was swept up by the sea.
Yeah.
And so he's telling him, you don't have to worry anymore because I'm your dad.
Oh. Whew.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
What? This is a comedy podcast.
Woo, boy.
And we're both blubbering like...
You son of a bitch. I thought I was going to get out unscathed.
I know.
Oh. Well, then, thank you guys
All right.
for sticking along with us for our therapy session here.
My final point about that was, so in the episode when it got to those moments, I think we had just had a bunch of tequila or something.
Yeah.
And you and Mark were on the opposite page, like hamming it up, and laughing hysterically. So any moment I was about to get emotional or that made me emotional privately was thrown out the window. So I've said that several times in the podcast. I'm like, well, I was getting teary-eyed putting this together, but I guess.
Son of a bitch. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's called Sweet Pea's Lullaby.
Yeah.
If you want to go watch that afterwards.
Woof.
See why we're...
I can't even say that without me tearing up.
We're so emotional today.
Good God.
All right, well, patrons, thank you.
Yes, we love you. We haven't forgot about you.
And we got a lot more coming, so until next time.
Don't go dying on us.
Bye.